atypical kind of setup in terms of weighing in the afternoon. Like, I think I've ever weighed in the afternoon before. Obviously, you get the opportunity to, but in most comps. But like this was like the weigh-ins in the afternoon, so I thought it's actually not too bad. Just doing most of the cut in just one day. Do you know what I mean? Just kind of losing it throughout the morning and afternoon. So yeah.
What did you do? Water or carbs or?
Basically, yeah, water loaded. I did my normal 600 carbs Wednesday, 300 yesterday, and then just like ate nothing today, but also just kind of cut my sodium on those 2 days, and then took some herbal diuretics, and everything seemed to work well. I weighed myself Nick's hotel to see if I needed a sauna or not. I didn't need a sauna, so yeah, it was all good, really. Just a lot of waiting around. Like I don't mean waiting around as in like here. I mean like just until 4 o'clock.
No, it's very late in the day to be weighing in.
So with that approach you've taken, is it safe to say you've come here to win? Anything less than that would be considered a bad day?
I don't really think of competitions like that, but what I've noticed about myself is I like to do the best that I can. Sounds kind of cliched, but you know, when people are talking about competing against themselves and beating themselves from last time, I mean, like we all need PBs, and I've been kind of like starved of a PB for a long time. So just to do my best, and also like when I'm competing at a comp, I like to feel like I'm actually there, like I am competing, you know. So I like to do the things like fit into my weight class. I like to do the things like, you know, make sure that, you know, my formula, so my dot score is right. Otherwise, like, why are you going to the big comps if you're not preparing like you're going to the big comps? But really, I'm not really focusing on winning because I can't control what anyone else does. I can only control what I do. But I'm just trying to prepare the best I can.
You won the Andy Bolton deadlift challenge back in 2019, regarded as probably one of the best deadlifters in Britain at the moment. Well, certainly up there. Do you think it's a safe bet that you'll have the biggest deadlift tomorrow?
You know what? I have no idea if anyone can outpull me. If we look like historically on open powerlifting, I don't know who else there is really, but yeah, maybe. If you look by those numbers, then yeah, I feel like I'm as good as I've ever been, if not better. So potentially, yeah.
This is the best Alexander we're going to see tomorrow? That's the plan?
The best we're going to see? No, we're going to see better in the future, but the best yet.
The best yet. And in terms of numbers, is there certain numbers in your head where you're like, if I hit that, I consider that a good day? Have you got numbers?
Yeah, literally, basically anything above a 940 total would be a good day, because, you know, that's a personal best. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice total at your body weight. Good dot score. Would that include a 400 kilo deadlift? Would that be potentially on the
I'll be quite honest, like if I felt like it was there, I'd take it. Prep wise, probably not, no. Like I don't feel like that's there based on my prep, just being completely honest. I mean, people throw ostentatious numbers out there, but like I don't know whether the people actually believe that they can do these crazy numbers. Just because it's the next milestone doesn't mean that I would go for it. Do you know what I mean? The next milestone for me might just be 2.5 kilos more than I've done in the past.
If the opportunity was there to load it for the third to get onto the podium, would you do it?
It depends what I'd got on my second, I suppose. It depend what you know, what total I would be going for on my third, and whether there was something in between. It would depend on a few things. You know what I mean? I wouldn't just to get on the podium. I wouldn't sacrifice a personal best on the podium and win. Nah. Maybe. Who knows?
It sounds like you're on a journey. Like to you, it's just another, you know, dot on the bedpost, so to speak. You're trying to just do another comp, PB.
And don't get me wrong, I want to be at the best comps, you know what I mean? So that's why I've chosen to come here. Otherwise, I could have just gone around the corner and done another qualifier and not spent the money travelling and all the stress that comes with doing like an international. But I wanted to be here specifically, do you know what I mean? Because I believe this is kind of the best standard of judging. The creative stuff that Jay does with the setup and everything like that is seems to be unmatched in anywhere that I've seen. It's really unique, even if it's not as big as other meets, you know, in America or Australia or whatever. It's very unique. And for example, my friend and business partner Jack love it, and I run a meet called Spartan Raw over in the UK, where it's a sleeves only meet, and like I'd certainly take some ideas from today, such as things you do now with the interview and stuff like that, and kind of propose to Jack that we might, you know, do something in a similar vein come the time of our meet, you know.
Yeah, I appreciate the kind of words on that. I'm sure Jay would like to hear that.
Oh, it's complete honesty. I'm not
Yeah.
kissing ass, you know.
No.
Yeah.
And just in terms of the comps you mentioned, it is different. Standards can be deemed higher. Has that had an impact on your prep? Have you made any changes at all to your approach to your prep this time around compared to others?
I would say that like this is something I do on every prep anyway. I like to film my squats from the side. I think that people don't do that enough. People tend to film the squats from the front, and they're gonna look. I even saw Red Cohen comment once on Instagram on someone's squat video. If it looks high from the front, it's even higher from the side, and it's true. So film those squats from that angle, making sure that I'm doing my squats in singles, I think really helps, because you only get one chance per set. You know what I mean? It's not like, you know, the first one was a bit high, but at least you got the second one. You know, it's the only squat. And no, I always like to train to a high standard. Do you know what I mean? I think, you know, I just don't see the point in preparing for low standard judging. I just, you know, why would you do that? You know, it's not me, you know.
Train to a high standard and perform at a high standard.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. A high standard yields high results. Just in terms of, we talked about your journey, so is there a number down the line where if you were to hit total wise or lift wise, that you call it a day, or is it just you're going to keep doing this until you say?
That's a really hard one. That's like one which I've been kind of toying with in my head for like quite a while, because obviously there are health implications of the sport. There are health implications of, you know, weighing 128, 130, like is what I came down from, and I, you know, potentially see a day where I end up being a lot lighter just walking around day to day. Well, that means that I won't be able to hit my biggest numbers. Numbers wise, it's hard to say. Obviously the two big milestones for me will be a 400 kilo deadlift, will be 1,000 kilo total, whether that be 1,000 kilo rep, 1,000 kilo sleeves. But then you always have the tendency to think in your head, okay, where is that in the world? And now I'm close enough in the world to, you know, some of the top guys. Why don't I challenge some of the top guys? So honestly, in a nutshell, I don't know, but it's something I do think about quite a lot, and it's definitely a question I ask myself as well. So yeah, but I think those two numbers are nice, but it just feels like, even though maybe you shouldn't focus on this, a lot of people have done them now. You know what I mean? Whereas literally 5, 6, 7 years ago, they'd be really, really outstanding. Which makes them no harder to get to, just as hard to get to. But I don't know, I suppose if you're looking at being like world competitive, once you get to those standards, you're gonna want to seek out big comps and see if you can just, you know, up your placing a little bit more. So I guess the only way is to see how I react when I get there, I suppose, and how I feel at the time, because I'd love to be able to do this for a long time and till an older age. But at the same time, you know, we're seeing people dropping dead in the 40s. A lot these days, a lot of bodybuilders, fair enough, but it's not too dissimilar from powerlifting. So, you know, as someone who, you know, has kids or whatever, you've got to think about that. Or as someone who just wants longevity in general, you've got to think about that.
If it wasn't powerlifting, what would you be doing?
What would I be doing? That's a really good question, because as a kid, well, I think as a kid, the sports I did as a kid were golf and judo. It's kind of, I guess the only things they have in common is the individual sports. I enjoyed both of them, apart from like golf can get really frustrating. You just want to like snap your clubs all the time. I did bodybuilding, of course. I competed in bodybuilding for 8 years. I would say that, you know, I don't know whether I would have got tired of that one by now. You know what I mean? I'm not sure whether I would have liked that lifestyle, whether it's all as... I have nothing against it, of course, but at the same time, I don't know, I'm glad I'm doing this rather than bodybuilding, you know? I just prefer it so much more. So yeah, one of those three, I think. Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's look tomorrow.